Differentiation of trigonometric functions, multiple choices questions. Question number 12. If f of x equals 8x sine x cosine 2x, then f dash of pi over 2 equals -2, 0, 1, or 2. Solution: f of x equals 4x multiply 2, as 4 multiply 2 equals 8 here, 2 sine x cosine x cosine multiply cosine 2x, and this part equals sine 2x. So f of x equals 4x multiply sine 2x multiply cosine 2x, which equal, again we write 2x multiply 2 sine 2x multiply cosine 2x equals 2x multiply 2 sine 2x, this part equals sine 4x. So now we can find f dash of x as follow. F dash of x equals, here we have two functions, here is the first and the sine 4x is the second function. So f dash of x equals the derivative of the first function, the derivative of 2x is 2, multiply the second function itself without any differentiation, plus the first function 2x multiply the derivative of sine 4x is, first we write the derivative of the angle, the derivative of 4x is 4, so we have 4 cosine 4x, which equal 2 sine 4x plus 8x cosine 4x. The required here is to find the f dash pi over 8. So f dash of pi over 8 equals 2 sine 4 multiply pi over 8. We substitute x pi over 8 plus 8 multiply pi over 8 cosine 4 multiply pi over 8, which equal 2 sine 4 times pi over 8 equals pi over 2 plus 8 multiply pi over 8, it is 8, it's pi cosine pi over 2, as 4 multiply pi over 8 equals pi over 2, equals 2 times sine pi over 2 is 1 plus pi multiply 0, as cosine pi over 2 it is cosine 90 equals 0, so the result equals 2. And here is the solution in letter D. Question number 13, we have First we write solution. We have d dx sec x minus 1 multiply sec x plus 1 equals one of these choices. So we write d dx of sec x minus 1 multiply sec x plus 1 is sec square x minus 1. Remember that if you multiply a minus b times a plus b, the result equals a square minus b square. So the differentiation will be to the sec square minus 1, which equal, what is the derivative of sec square? Equals to sec x multiply the derivative of sec x as itself. What is the derivative of sec x? It is sec x dot tan x. The derivative of sec is sec tan minus the derivative of 1 is 0. So the final result will be 2 sec x multiply sec x is sec square x dot tan x, and we have this at letter B, 2 sec square x tan x. Here is the solution. Question number 14, d dx cosine x sec x. So it is equal d dx cosine x multiply cosec x is 1 over sine x. So it is equal d dx cotan x, cosine x over sine x is cotan x, and the cotan, it is equal 1 over 10. Again, here we have cosine x multiply 1 is cosine x over sine x. It is equal 1 over tan x, which equal cotan x. So we have d dx cotan x. What is the derivative of cotan x? Is negative cosec square x, and we choose letter D. Question number 15, if y equals sine x sec pi over 2 minus x, where x is an acute angle, then dy dx equals 1 of this. So we rewrite y equals sine x multiply sec pi over 2 minus x equals cosec x, and we know that cosec x is the reciprocal of sine x. So we have y equals sine x multiply 1 over sine x. Cosec x equals 1 over sine x, which equal 1. So the derivative will be dy dx when y equals 1. When y equals 1. So we can say dy dx equals 0. And we choose letter A. Question number 16. If y plus cotan x equals 0, then dy dx equals 1 plus y, 1 plus y square minus 1, y square. So we write y equals negative cotan x. Y equals negative cotan x. Now dy dx equals negative, and here we write the derivative of cotan. The derivative of cotan is negative cosec square. Negative cosec square x. So dy dx equals negative multiply negative is positive cosec square x. So dy dx equals cosec square equals 1 plus cotan square. Cotan square x, of course. And the cotan square, by squaring these two sides, equals y square. Here, if you squaring the two sides, what you get? We will get y power 2 equals cotan power 2x. So dy dx equals 1 plus y square. And we choose letter B. So dy dx equals 1 plus y square. 1 plus y square. Question number 17. If y equals sec x minus cotan x multiply cosec x plus cotan x, then dy dx equals, okay, and now we rewrite y equals cosec square x minus cotan square, and cosec square minus cotan square equals 1. So y equals 1. That means dy dx equals 0. And the answer in letter A. Question number 18. If y equals 2 cotan x over cotan square x minus 1. So find dy dx where x belongs to the interval 0 and pi over 6. So to simplify the right hand side, we dividing up and down by cotan square x, cotan square x. So we have y equals, here we have 2 cotan x over cotan square x, and here we will divide the denominator by cotan square x. Cotan square divide cotan square equals 1, minus 1 divide cotan square is tan square x. So the result equals, here we have 2 over cotan square over cotan x. Here we simplify cotan x over cotan square x equals 1 over cotan x multiply 2. So the result of numerator 2 over cotan x. Okay, over 1 minus the same denominator tan square x. So y equals 2 divide cotan x is 2 tan x over 1 minus tan square x. And here we have 2 tan x over 1 minus tan square x equals tan 2x, the double of the angle. 2 tan x over 1 minus tan square x equals tan 2x. So the derivative will be 2 tan 2x. So dy dx equals the derivative of tan is 6 square. 6 square 2x multiply the derivative of the angle itself, which equal to, so the final result is 2 6 square 2x. 2 6 square 2x. 2 6 square 2x, and the answer in letter A. Question 19. If y equals sec 3x plus tan 3x, find dy dx. So directly dy dx equals the derivative of sec is sec tan multiply the derivative of the angle. What is the derivative of 3x? The derivative of 3x is 3. So we multiply 3 by sec 3x dot tan 3x plus the derivative of the second part here is 3 6 square. 6 square 3x. Okay, the derivative of tan is 6 square. Multiply the derivative of the angle. The derivative of 3x is 3. And we simplify this part as possible because we don't have the solution here. So we must simplify the right hand side to get one of these options. So dy dx equals, we can take 3 sec 3x as a common factor. Bracket, here we have tan 3x plus sec 3x. So the result equals 3 sec 3x multiply tan 3x plus sec 3x from the given equals y. So the final result equals 3y sec 3x. 3y sec 3x. And the solution will be in letter A. Question 20. If y equals cotan ax, write it, y equals cotan, it is the cotangent, cotan ax, and we have dy dx plus 4 dy dx plus 4 multiply 1 plus y square equals 0. The required here is to find a. What is the value of a? So we have here y equals cotan ax. So directly we will start with differentiation. So we have dy dx equals negative a, as the derivative of cosec of cotan is cosec square ax. And then we substitute here in this left hand side. Here we have dy dx equals negative a cosec square ax plus 4 multiply 1 plus y square, and we have y equals cotan ax. So we write cotan square ax. Of course it is equal 0. So we have negative a cosec square ax plus 4 multiply 1 plus cotan square is cosec square ax equals 0. And here we can take cosec square ax as a common factor. Then we can write cosec square ax as a common factor multiply negative a plus 4 equals 0. Okay, cosec square ax not equal 0. Cosec square ax not equal 0. So negative a plus 4 equals 0. It means a equals 4. And we will choose letter C. The answer in letter C. Remember that if you have two quantities a multiply b equals 0. So a equals 0 or b equals 0 or a equals b equals 0, h equals 0. So in this part we have cosec square ax equals 0, and this is impossible. So the second part here will be equals 0, negative a plus 4. Negative a plus 4 equals 0 to make the left hand side equals 0. So a must be equals 4. Question 21. Remember that to solve this, you must remember this rule. Limit f of x plus h minus f of x over h when h tends to 0 equals f dash of x. Limit f of x plus h minus f of x for any function f of x over h when h tends to 0 equals f dash of x. So with respect this part, we can write it in the form limit sec of x plus h minus sec x over h as h tends to 0. And according to this rule here, we can write limit sec x plus h minus sec x over h as h tends to 0 equals d dx, the first derivative of the function according to the rule. F dash of x is d dx of f. So we write d dx sec x, which equal, what is the derivative of sec x? It is sec tan. Sec x dot tan x. But the required here we have x equals pi over 4. So the limit equals sec pi over 4 multiply tan pi over 4. Tan pi over 4 equals 1. And sec pi over 4 equals 1 over cosine. 1 over cosine pi over 4. So here multiply 1. 1 over cosine pi over 4. Cosine pi over 4, it is 1 over root 2. Cosine pi over 4 equals 1 over root 2. You can calculate it in calculator. Here is multiply 1, okay? Here, cosine pi over 4. Here is the system of the calculator here, the mode in D, the degree measure, right? So we write cosine pi over 4 is 45. 45 degrees, of course, equals root 2 over 2, which equal 1 over root 2. So the final result equals root 2. And the solution will be in letter A. Last question. We have y equals 1 plus 10 over 1 minus 10. Then dy dx equals 1 of this. Again, remember this rule. 10 x plus y equals 10x plus 10y over 1 minus 10x 10y. Now, back to the question here. We can consider 10, we can consider 1 equals 10 45, because we have 45 in every choice here. So instead of y equals 1 plus 10x over 1 minus 10x, I can write it in this form. Instead of 1, we write 10 45 plus 10x over 1 minus 10x is 1 multiply 10x, and we consider 1 equals 10 45. So we write 10 45 multiply 10x. It is the same form here, right? So y equals 10 45 plus 10x over 1 minus 10 45 multiply 10x, which equal 10 45 plus x. So dy dx equals derivative of 10 is 6 square, the same angle 45 plus x, multiply the derivative of the angle. Derivative of x derivative of 45 is 0 plus derivative of x is 1. So the final result will be sec square 45 plus x. Multiply 0 plus 1 equals 1. So the final result is sec square 45 plus